North Ogden then and now. I grew up in North Ogden all my life. I don't remember any other place. I'm still living in North Ogden, but I remember starting to be aware of thought, consciousness around 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even earlier than that. But I remember, I remember when people were very rude to the black population, which really offended me. I remember one time saying the N word. I saw a black cat and I called it an N cat, and my mom was livid with me. She grabbed some soap and she stuck it in my mouth and she washed my mouth out because I had said the N word, and I never said that anymore. I was always offended at the culture back then that people were rude to black people and to Mexican people. But my dad grew up fighting blacks and Mexicans down on 30th and Wall when he was a kid in elementary, junior high, and high school. So there was some racial feelings, I don't know if it's right, racial feelings back and forth that we grew up with, and I kind of was in that 60s era when there was some black marches and things like that. But I remember the culture was pretty rough towards blacks and Mexicans. I have quite a few black friends now as I've gone through my business, and also Mexican friends. And it was interesting because I was always offended when I was young at how people would be disrespectful with other people, primarily with blacks and Mexicans. So I didn't understand that, and I feel like, that's nothing that I really struggle with. So I feel, in fact, if anybody I want to come to my funeral is the Mexican laborers that I've worked with, because I really respect them, and some of the black homeless people and stuff like that also. But of course they come and go. But anyway, North Ogden growing up, it was just like the Andy Griffith Show. There was just a small community. Then eventually they put a 7-Eleven down here, a store, a big store, a bank. But when I grew up down in Washington and 2600 North, and there was just like a yield sign and a small 2-lane highway that went back and forth. I recall. I don't remember a lot about that, but things have changed a whole bunch. And now, with computers and with technology, and there's all kinds of stores and McDonald's, and then you go down to 2600 North and Washington Boulevard, and now there's there's several stoplights, and there's just tons of traffic, and so it feels like I want to move out of here and go north to Idaho or Montana or Wyoming or something like that, because the population is so much. But it used to be very, very simple, like the Andy Griffith Show. That's why I relate so much with it. My grandpa was the owner of Ken's Market. It was simple. But now it seems more complicated with more people. And I and my children are some of the people too. But it has changed a lot. And it felt like he used to know like almost everybody. I know he didn't, but we knew a lot of people in the city. Now it's like, you hardly know anybody. So, except for in your immediate neighborhood. But anyway, yeah, things have changed a lot in North Ogden, but there is still a wonderful, great community. So I'm one of those population too. So, but I'm really glad that I was raised in this community, and I raised my children in this community.